Hey, what's up guys? This is Jake Stefanich from SparkBMXTraining.com. Today I wanted to go over a few of the different setups I like to use for a deadlift. If we get these right, it can completely change the way a deadlift feels. It can take it from people feeling it more in their back to feeling it more in their glutes and their hamstrings, where we should be feeling it. So we're going to get up with a barbell. We can use a trap bar, doesn't really matter. We can even use kettlebells or something like that. Straight barbell today. And then we can also talk about narrow stance versus wide stance. This is going to be kind of a preferential thing. I like a little bit wider of a stance. It feels better to me, some more of a sumo stance. But I can do narrow stance as well. So I want you to kind of experiment with that. I think based on your hips, the way your hips are built is going to kind of dictate what feels better for you. But your setup isn't really going to change all that much depending on your stance. So what you want to do is have that bar really close to your shins. We don't start with it over our toes. It's about as close to our shins as we can make it. Another thing I like to do is pattern the movement first. So we got to pattern that hip hinge, and I like to do that by taking your hands, put them by your ribs, and I tell people to reach forward with their hands as far as they can and reach your butt back to the wall behind them as far as they can at the same time. So as I push my hands forward, I push my butt back, and then I push to the ground and stand back up. Reach, and then push to the ground and stand back up. And this really helps to kind of set a really good pattern, a good hip hinge pattern. And it also teaches them to push the floor away rather than thinking about lifting something up. Because when you lift something up, you tend to feel it in your back a little bit more. When you're down here and you push the floor away, you tend to use your pushing muscles. You feel more butt and hamstrings and quads when you do that. The other thing I want to really go over is the reach before we actually do our deadlift. Mosquito trying to kill me. All right, so we're going to reach out as far as we can and give me a big exhale. When I do that, I'm going to feel my rib cage kind of go down. When it goes down, I'm going to take a breath in with that rib cage down. I'm going to try to get some air into my back. I'm really charging. It's called charge the thorax full of air. So when my ribs go down, my obliques kind of kick on. I'm going to take a good breath in and try to fill this up so I expand all the way around. If you had hands around just under my ribs, and I did that, and took a breath in, you would feel expansion here, but you would also feel a lot of expansion in my back. And if you had your hands in my ribs, you'd feel my ribs go down, and then back up here, you feel a little bit of air coming in my upper back. So we're going to do that with a reach. So that's how you would set up for a deadlift, with a reach first, exhale, set that, and then go down, push your feet to the ground, stand up tall, and then back down. But what you would do is you can do these in singles. So you can do, like, if you're going quite heavy, you're going to go sets of reps of deadlifts. So pick it up, put it back down. Stand up, reset, go back down. This is also good for when you're first learning to pattern this exercise. Kind of get in the habit of that. But once you get it, you can do it for reps. So you can set your rib cage, breath in. And at the top of that big hard exhale, you're going to feel your ribs kind of go down, or they're going to stay down, and then you're going to take your breath in at the top. So the breathing thing is very important, and getting this all set up is very important, so you can actually have a good stable base for your glutes and your hamstrings to do a lot of the work. So that's some of the finer points of setting up for deadlifts.